It's great to be here in Queanbeyan with my good friend Mike Kelly, who is the local member for Eden Monaro. And on top of that is the Minister for Defence Materiel. I also said recently, if the government's return, I couldn't think of a better man to become the next Defence Minister of Australia. He's a bloke who's had an extraordinary background in the Australian military. He's studied widely, and is, I think when you're in the military service, you're a full colonel. Okay, so he's the kind of guy who understands the military. Useful to have around, I think. We're here in Queanbeyan today in a regional centre in New South Wales to talk about young people, to talk about jobs, and to talk about training for jobs. And when I look around Australia, this is a challenge for us all. We have placed top priority in this election campaign on economic management, on growing the economy, to making sure we're generating enough jobs, and to manage the cost of living pressures for Australian families. When you look carefully at the jobs data around the country, we've done relatively well by global standards. Unemployment rate is still 5.7 nationally, but as you would have seen from the economic statement, absent policy change in the future, we will see that rise, and therefore that's why we've indicated that we need to diversify the economy to make sure all our eggs are not in one basket. We're growing new industries, and to make sure that those new industries include manufacturing, agribusiness, as well as the service industries. Within the service industries, ones like this, in hospitality services, tourism is a huge employer. And you need to make sure that the young people going into hospitality are getting the proper training on the way through. We already have, through the government, a national training entitlement. That's been an important initiative in the formation of young people across the country. And that is an entitlement to a training place to take you up to certificate level 3 in whatever area you choose to work once you leave school. But we've discovered something over the years, which is there is a group of young folk who often fall between the cracks. That is those who come out of the school system but are not ready in terms of their skill set to head into formal vocational training. And there is a group there which I think represent a real problem for the future, and we want to make sure that they can realise their potential as well. If you look at the data, as I said, nationally we have an unemployment rate of about 5.7. We start to look, however, at the unemployment rate for 15 to 24-year-olds. It rises to 12%. In that 15 to 19 bracket, it gets above 20%. Now, this is a core group we need to keep targeting in the future to make a difference for them and their families. So that's why today we're announcing a new $35 million Step into Skills program, with the objective of reaching out to about 9,000 young people aged between 16 and 24 who've not yet finished high school or gained a trade or other qualifications. The program is designed to take them from unemployment to being qualified, ready and trained for work. As we know, all parents want to have their kids have the best start in life. And even if some of our kids struggle a bit at high school, want to know that they won't be stuck in unemployment queues for the rest of their lives. They need to have pathways from school into employment. And this is part of those stepping stones that we're constructing here through this new Step into Skills program. This will help make sure that all Australians, in fact, are skilled and work ready. Of course, this is one part of what we're doing to keep the economy strong and to grow jobs and to make sure that there are jobs for young people in the future as well as managing cost of living pressures for families. That's why it's also important, as we build the industries of tomorrow, we invest in the National Broadband Network. It's a huge add-on to business productivity in the future, a huge add-on to employment in regional and remote areas as well. I had discussions yesterday with various mayors from northern Tasmania who are telling me that very same story. People are going to Tasmania to live there for the lifestyle, but they want to be able to connect with business opportunities on mainland Australia, but elsewhere in the world as well. And that's a key investment. So We want to make sure that those sort of investments are growing the industries of the future, adding the jobs of the future, making sure we don't have all our eggs just in one basket, the mining basket, but we're growing a much more diversified economy in the future. But for all that to work, we also need to ensure that we are investing in the skills and training needs of every group of Australians. This builds on our $19 billion worth of investment in training over the past 5 years, the National Training Guarantee, which I've just mentioned, which provides a guaranteed training place to certificate level 3, as well as textile loans for Doc Ed and uncapped undergraduate university places under the Bradley reforms. And I think it's important to note again that for young people today, we now have 190,000 more kids at university than was the case back in 2006-07. That's a big number for a country like Australia. And on top of that again, trades training centres now servicing hundreds and hundreds of secondary schools right across Australia. So this Step into Skills program doesn't happen in a vacuum. It happens on the backbone of ensuring that we've got investment in early childhood education, 15 hours a week, pre-literacy, pre-numeracy, investing in building a new national curriculum, which is now being rolled out across the country, which emphasises literacy and numeracy, investing also in the new library facilities, thousands of which we've built right across the country in our primary schools, ensuring that we're adding new language and science centres in our secondary schools, through the Better Schools Plan, investing another $10 billion into the one-on-one attention kids need in our schools in the future to either help those who are falling behind or those who are being held back. Also investments in our trades and vocational education through hundreds of new trades training centres around the country, as well as our National Training Guarantee and uncapping of university places to provide 190,000 extra places. What this measure does is help fill one of those gaps. It's an important gap to make sure that in that 15 to 19-year-old bracket in particular, if there is a slippage and kids who are coming out of school are not quite ready to take up a position in TAFE and to get their Certificate 3, that this program, this $35 million program that I'm announcing today, the Step into Skills program, helps bridge that gap with key additional training. Over to you, folks.